Woo! Okay.
You like that intro, Dan?
I do. Man, I feel like I'm on The Price is Right or something. Come on down.
It's funny because it actually is programmed in. I only had one option for the intro music, and I'm actually pretty happy with it. Like, I don't think I'm going to switch it out anytime. I was thinking about maybe putting Rage Against the Machine or something more hard. I'm like, that funk actually, it works with this. So I think I'm going to go.
Say, when are you going to create your own? I mean, yeah. I know you play guitar and be a band.
Yeah, I try to be cool as a 41-year-old. Sometimes it's when you're bald and chubby, you got to find other methods of being cool, you know? So, but yeah, Dan, if you could kind of give us a little intro about yourself, how you got into this industry and things that you're working on right now. Just give us a little spotlight of who you are so people can know like who Dan VanSweden is.
Yeah, no problem. Honestly, I was going to BYU and it was around 2008.
Okay.
I was supposed to graduate 2009, actually.
Oh, nice.
So the economy was absolutely brutal and nobody was hiring. And I was seeing all these super seniors sticking around trying to like double major because they couldn't get a job, right?
Yeah.
And I remember I had a few friends that were like, "Hey, we're going to knock some doors." And
okay.
I was like, that doesn't really sound too fun.
And was Clint one of them?
Not at the time, but
No.
he comes shortly after, actually.
Okay.
So, and I remember, it didn't sound too interesting. Then they're like, "Yeah, man, you could be making like $200-$300 a sell selling alarms." I was like,
"Dang!"
As a poor college kid, you're like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Wait, and I just have to sell 200? That's it?
That's it?
And I can make 700 a sell?
Think of all the things I can buy.
I got this. No problem.
Yeah.
So then I ended up getting into just doing door-to-door, switched around, did a couple of preseason trips with different companies, and ended up just sticking around with Vivint.
Vivint.
Obviously, they're the biggest, flashiest,
I was with them when they were called Apex, so I didn't get to the Vivint part, but yeah, I definitely worked for the.
Actually, I was too, but I was right there when they switched.
Right when they switched,
I had not gone out yet.
Okay,
I went on a preseason trip under Apex.
Okay,
went out and sold.
Okay, you were right when they
Vivint.
Transitioned to the orange, from the blue to the orange. Yeah,
so that wasn't too bad for me.
Okay.
But I ended up joining on a team that went up to Alaska. So I was like, all right, this is going to be really cool.
Alaska, that'd be fun.
Yeah, and they're like, "Hey, yeah, so you gotta make your way there. We'll give you a $500 gift card." I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." Like, I think it was like 3,600 miles later.
How far did it take to drive? How long did it take to drive?
Man, it was like, I remember it was like 4 days and
4 solid days,
7-8 hour days.
Oh wow,
it took forever.
You're just like, are we there yet?
Oh man, no, seriously. I remember getting there. I'm like, I don't think this check's going to cover my gas that got me up here.
Can I get an advance?
And I didn't know how to calculate it going into Canada when they're, paying liters and paying in liters. So
yeah.
Anywho, so that's kind of how I got my start, just knocking doors for Vivint, selling alarms.
How many years did you do that for?
I only did it for 1 year.
Okay.
Not that I didn't like it or I didn't think I was going to go back out. I think I sold like 76 or 78 accounts.
Okay.
And, I was like, yeah, this is pretty good money, and I was, I thought, definitely I'll go out and do it again.
Yeah.
But I came back and, some guys were like training or thinking about going on a preseason trip. I'm like, yeah, I need a break for a little bit.
Give me a sec.
Yeah. Give me just a second. So I ended up finding an inside sales job with a handful of buddies that I went out and knocked doors with.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, let's just try this for a little while.
We don't have to knock doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was actually pretty good pay too. It was actually better than what Vivint was offering at the time. So
nice.
Stuck around and ended up recruited Clint into the inside sales job.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Was this for Vivint?
No. So it was for company Matt Rasmussen owned, who's the owner of Ion Solar.
Oh, I've heard of them.
So I ran his inside sales team and eventually just kind of took it over. We were a small 3 or 4 man, about a 4-guy group.
Okay.
And just kind of took it over and
that's where you got the start.
That's where I got the start. Yeah, man.
So how many years has that been since you started?
Well, so when I was doing that job for about 6 years.
Okay.
And we started only our first year there. We sold like as a company like 700,000.
Wow.
In
That's
volume,
that's
right?
insane.
So we're like,
Wow.
yeah, this is cool. And then by the time, we had figured it out and perfected and hired guys and built a cool culture, like the last year that I was there, we were doing almost 8 million in volume.
That's insane.
So and it was cool. It was like 20 something guys.
Cool.
And I only jumped off the sinking ship because Matt sold and went on to bigger and better things, obviously.
Yeah.
So we were just doing so well. He's like, hey, it's time to go. So, kind of new owners took over and it just wasn't going in the direction it was. And so that's when I hopped off and tried to look for something similar. And it's just, it's tough trying to find a cool inside sales job. Yeah. And this was before Mrs. 2016. So before a lot of these tech companies, Silicon Slopes showed up.
Okay.
And so I decided to get into real estate.
Oh, yeah. That's how you got in your start in real estate. Okay.
So I was looking for something to do. I was actually going to probably go build homes with my dad. He's a general contractor. But then I was like, I don't want to swing the hammer.
Yeah. All the grunt work.
So I had a friend that was like, look, just do real estate. I mean, you can sell your dad's homes and all this stuff. I was like, all right, cool. I'll do that.
Yeah.
So, I did that and I sold 44 houses my first year in real estate.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was off working leads, just
leads,
internet leads. So obviously I had the skill set of, inside sales for call centers and it worked out perfect for real estate. And ended up building a small 4-man team and learned automations and all that stuff to where
that's great.
At our brokerage, we were, 2 years in a row, we were the largest team producer with only 4 people. And there was 5 or 6 teams that had 10, 12,
just 4
15,
guys, 4 all heavy hitters. Huh?
Oh yeah. It was fun.
That's fun.
So that's kind of where I've adopted the style, like just a smaller, tight knit group that just loves to just go out and crush it.
Did you guys have a pretty healthy culture where it was enjoyable to go on?
Yeah, it
wasn't like, oh, I have to work with this guy.
Yeah, no, it was fun. We were like best friends, all working together, and that's honestly the way I prefer it.
Yeah,
and that's not my leadership style of cracking the whip, right?
Yeah, nothing's worse when you work with a company where the culture you're just not bought in, and you're working with guys that you're just like, oh, I have to deal with this guy every day. And to actually come into a job where you feel like it's like a brotherhood. Yep. It just makes all the world's difference. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, we would go to lunch together, we do activities together, and the funniest thing is when my wife, we got in an argument one time, and she's like, whatever. It's not even fair. You get to go to work and just hang out with your buddies.
It's like a frat.
Yep. You know what? You're right. Absolutely. That's the way we built that.
How do you think I'm so successful? I work with guys that I love. Yeah.
So. No, that was it. And then, real estate obviously kind of took a turn the last couple of years as interest rates went from 2.5 to 7.5 in less than a year. And
crazy how that happened.
Yeah, really kind of curbed things. And so buying leads for real estate really didn't pan out. I was losing money. And so I stayed in contact with Clint a handful of times. I mean, our wives are actually pretty good friends and growing up in high school. And I went to Clint's wedding when he got married. And so he was just like, look, like we got this thing going on the door-to-door sales. Like, let's try our hand at the inside sales. I know you've done it before, a few different jobs
with
and
your
been
past.
Successful. And let's give it a shot. And so that's where we're at today, man. Going a couple months strong. And
love it.
We're already growing.
And you met Clint. I can't remember if you mentioned this, but was it during your Alaska summer? Is that when you first worked with each other?
You first worked with each other, yes. Okay. So I met Clint because I went to his wedding with his wife.
Oh, okay.
Because my wife knew his wife. She's like, hey, I got this friend getting married up in Logan. Like, you want to come up with me? So that's when I met him.
Okay, through the wives. Yeah. Okay.
And then when I went on a preseason trip to some podunk town in Colorado, see Clinton sitting at the desk. I'm like, what the crap? So that's when I saw him again. And then we actually knocked on the same sales team for Vivint up in Alaska.
That's awesome.
And then when I found the inside sales job, he joined us for a minute. And then he's like, I just love the doors so much. I got to get back out there. Right?
Nice. I love it.
So he went back out. And like I said, we've just been kind of keeping in contact here and there. And
love it.
Yeah.
So what's your title here with Embarc, and what do you got going right now? What are you involved in?
So my title, CMO, Chief Marketing Officer.
Sweet.
Which, it's fun. I actually enjoy it a lot because I get to see from the marketing perspective through the lens of a sales guy.
Okay, I like
right?
that. Yeah, I like that.
I mean, a lot of people go to school and they're like, hey, here's how you market. But it's like, no, I actually like it from the perspective of, hey, here's how you sell it.
Yeah.
Let's figure out how to market through a sales lens.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that.
And so it's fun working with our marketing director doing that and just producing leads.
Yeah.
So, but I'm also our inside sales director, or whatever, sales manager, whatever.
Over all the sales. How many sales reps do you have now?
I've got 6.
Love it.
Yeah.
And you're still growing, right?
Yeah, I got 3 more hiring coming Monday, and then I was literally just out setting up 8 more cubicles.
Yeah,
so
yeah, I saw those
20 people in here.
I saw those cubicles come in. It looks like a war zone out there, but
it does. But no, it's good, man. I mean, we've obviously proven a model and now built a culture. It's fun watching even these new guys who've been with me 2 months. I mean, they're already golfing together on Saturday, and they never even knew each other before. So
love it.
Doing something right.
How much did the door-to-door days, how much is that affecting your success today? Do you feel like that's been helpful to where you're at today?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, because everyone has done door-to-door sales. I mean, you go out with these high hopes and, this is going to be easy. I'm going to crush it. But, it's not until you're in that moment when you're out by yourself and nobody else is there to watch you. And you've got to figure out how to grind it out. Like, that's the part where you go from being a boy to a man. Right?
Yeah. There's no one looking over your shoulder. And it's just, I mean, if door-to-door sales was so easy, everyone would do it. It's one of the hardest ways of selling, hardest means. But think of how much you've learned through doing door-to-door and how it applies and how it affects you today. It's just huge. How it helps you grow as an individual in this industry. So
man, it's helped me out a ton. It's just given me a huge foundation of just self-motivation, organization, like work ethic, everything. And I remember the days where there were sometimes literally a grown man crying in the weeds or on the park bench, like, what am I going to do with my life?
I have nowhere I'm going.
But I mean, again, like, you just push through that adversity and it teaches you just how to work hard and just, and so when you can look back at it and you're like, you know what, I did something that most people just can't do.
Yeah. There's not a lot of people that can knock on strangers' doors trying to get them to buy something. I mean, it takes a certain individual, but if you can do that, you can sell pretty much anything, I think, if you can do door to door, but love it. So could you go over a few of, like, maybe some of the daily rituals that you've done over the past, how many years that you've been doing this that help you in this industry? Is there anything that you do daily that kind of keeps your mind in your head and in the game and keeps you motivated to keep growing and doing better?
Yeah. I'm a huge on just a morning schedule.
Okay.
And
what do you do to typically do? Like, what is your morning routine like?
Yeah. So I typically get up around 5:20, 5:25.
I'm still asleep by then for sure. It's hard for me to get up. I'm not a morning person, but that's impressive.
Yeah. Even harder. I have a gym in my basement.
Oh, do you? Love it.
I get up for that, not necessarily going to the gym. And so sometimes that's harder, right? Because it's like,
it's in your house.
I got to get up. Oh, I'll just, let me hit the snooze button for another hour and I'll get up and do it. But I had buddies that used to come over and work out with me that helped keep me to that. And now that I've done it so many years, it's just become habit. So I get up around that time. I usually head on into the kitchen, make my pre-workout, sip on it on the couch, read a little book or two. Okay. Typically either a motivational book or sometimes the scriptures, right? Got to hear the word of God sometimes. And,
spiritual, mental, and physical.
And then I get down and I hit the weights, and then I used to get ready and then head into the office. And I mean, now obviously I've got another thing. I don't know if you know this. I just took on the strength and conditioning coaching job for Spanish Fork High School.
So you're the coach?
Strength and conditioning.
Oh, okay.
So I do that in the morning too.
That's insane.
So I add that too, though. So
wow, that's huge. That's cool.
So now, like, I'm like, all right, I really got to crank out my workout because I've got to go to this. I got to go to high school and work with these kids and push them and help them become better human beings. And I got to rush home and get ready and come in the office. So I really just the last couple of years have learned to just say yes to opportunities instead of, nah, I'm too busy. Nah, I can't, I don't have the time. And last couple, I mean, that's probably kind of how I landed this job with Embarc, right? It was just like, nah, I'm too busy doing real estate, or I like my free time.
Get yourself out of the comfort zone.
Just say yes and see where those opportunities come from. And so, and then as far as the longevity of the job, I mean, just like the doors, it's all the same. The doors are all the same size. People are just a little different behind it, right?
Yeah.
But generally, the pitch is all the same. Product's the same.
Yeah.
And it's no different on the phones. I mean, it's the same pitch, same leads, same sell. So how do you get motivated?
Yeah.
I've actually, I've tried a handful of things, and the biggest motivations are just putting stuff on the wall, like almost like a vision board.
I like that. Yep.
Like, hey, this is what I want in life, because it's easy to get distracted in the moment and say, gosh, I'm just tired. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Or, hey, I just got off this bad phone call. Give me another hour. I'm going to go hit some balls.
There's always an excuse.
Yeah. But if I've got that in front of me, that vision board of what I want, it's easier to see it. Right.
I like that.
And at the same time, just knowing it's like, all right, this is going to be an all day thing.
Yeah.
Let's just break up the day. And so sometimes I kind of token the power hour. And it's like, all right, I'm going to set the timer on my computer.
Yeah.
I'll give it a solid hour of no distractions. See how far I can get. See how many sales I can get.
Yeah. Just eliminate all distractions.
Yeah. And then when that hour's done, it's like, hey, I'm going to take a 15, 20 minute break, kind of reset my head. Get ready, round 2. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Push play. And so I've learned to just kind of break up the day that way.
I like that.
And then, usually by round 2, it's lunchtime or whatever. And then same thing in the afternoon, a couple more rounds. And then by then you're done. Yeah.
Sometimes you got to take that little reset, like when you're grinding and, sometimes you can burn yourself out. I think there's always a happy medium in this. You got to find a fine balance of everything. If you're pushing yourself, too much, just like in a workout, right?
Yeah.
It's not as effective. When you take those little breaks during sets, I'm sure you take, with your workout routine, I'm sure you don't just, pound the weights without any breaks, right? You got to have that little like breather, right?
Yep. So I've got almost 14 years of inside sales experience now.
That's awesome.
So
that's great. Yeah. So it's kind of it's amazing to know like how much talent we have in this company and all the opportunities that are coming up. Is there any future things you see in the future of where this company can go? I mean, right now it seems like we're already outgrown this building, right? Do you have any goals for the future of where you'd like to see the company? And
yeah, I mean, when we first started this, I mean, I remember I was only doing like probably 20 something accounts a week, just me.
Yeah. Just you just grinding,
working out of the basement. And now we got an office and, we jumped it to 40, 50. And now we're doing probably give it a couple more weeks and we'll be doing about 200.
That's insane. That's awesome.
And we've got other companies that we've got contracts for. So
cool.
Jumping those on. I mean, get a couple on us. The goal is to, I just hit these little milestones, right?
Yeah, just little small goals that adds up big.
Yeah, when I think big picture, like, hey, I want to do 1,000 accounts. Yeah, it's a little daunting, a little overwhelming. Yeah. But if I'm like, okay, let's just get to this spot. Let's just get to this one, and it's like, this is actually happening.
Yeah. For me, I love doing endurance racing. Like I've done a couple marathons and Ironmans, but I never think of, I have to run 26.2 miles. I'm always like, just get to that street sign or just get to that mailbox. Yep. And it's crazy how those little small goals will make all the biggest difference in the world. Instead of thinking, I have to, hit this milestone, just the small goals is what's most important, I think. So awesome. I love it. Well, it's super amazing getting to know you and having people kind of know your background and your story and things of that you're excited for the future. Anything else you want to say before we end this?
Oh, what else? Anyone want to go golfing?
Yeah. It's funny how many golfers we have in the office. We're here in Pleasant Grove, and we have a putting green. We have a bunch of putters and balls laying around. We even have a golf simulator down the hall, right? Yeah. We have a inn. I guess someone that has that lets us go hit some balls there. Yeah. So
absolutely.
If you're ever in town in the office and you want to go golfing, there's no excuse. I mean, you got all the people in the world that want to go play with you here. So
yep, totally.
Anyway, well, it was a pleasure having you on, Dan. We're super excited for the future, and thanks for some of the wisdom that you shared with us.
Absolutely, anytime.
All right.